You know, there's a part of me that was hoping this movie would be like a Pirates of the Caribbean spinoff, like a Jack Sparrow origin story, just so Michael Bolton could come onto camera and just start singing this theme song.
This is the tale of Captain Jack Sparrow, pirate so brave on the seven seas.
What?
A mystical quest to the island of Tortuga, raving like sway on the ocean breeze.
Red Sparrow is about Dominica, played by Jennifer Lawrence. She's a ballerina, and she is sent to Sparrow School, a super secret Russian intelligence agency. And she is there to become a spy, and to become a spy there, you gotta use your body to get what you want. And she has to come into contact with a CIA agent, played by Joel Edgerton. Red Sparrow... Oh, it pains me to say this. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. At worst, I was hoping it would be a mixed bag. I was really hoping to enjoy this movie. Especially since it's very similar to Atomic Blonde. No, it is not similar to Black Widow from Marvel's Cinematic Universe. It is not a Black Widow movie. Nowhere similar to a Black Widow movie. So stop saying that, people. Please, thanks. It's very similar in style to Atomic Blonde. Atomic Blonde just did it better. I enjoyed Atomic Blonde more. I didn't enjoy it as much on rewatch, but after watching this, Atomic Blonde looks like an Oscar contender. That's all I'm gonna say. Red Sparrow's screenplay is so messy. I'm speechless. Like, it's based on a book. It's so messy that its subplots in certain situations tie back into the main plot and make the movie more confusing than it already was. The main plot was simple to follow, but there were things that were a bit confusing. It's more like Atomic Blonde in that sense, and then you're introduced to numerous subplots, and you can't follow them for shit. You're like, what the hell is going on here? These tie back in at certain points in the movie. You're just like, this is so pointless. It's so cliche. It's not very well written either. This screenplay is just a mess. That's all I'm gonna say. You're taking such a simple story and making it more convoluted than it already is. It's like trying to find concert tickets or tickets for a sporting event on StubHub. It's that confusing. And the characters in this movie aren't that interesting. They're not very fleshed out either. I mean, the only one that's really fleshed out is Jennifer Lawrence's character, and even she's not that well developed. Jeremy Irons is barely in the movie. Charlotte Rampling is barely in the movie. Joel Edgerton is just this boring, bland CIA dude. I'm like, why do I care about you right now? Jennifer Lawrence does give a good performance. I give her credit for stepping out of her comfort zone and doing something as challenging, I will say, as a role like this. Joel Edgerton also does a really good job. Everybody that's in the movie does good with what they're given. Jennifer Lawrence luckily doesn't phone it in like she did in the last two Hunger Games as Katniss Everdeen and X-Men Apocalypse as Mystique. But I also feel like she's not giving it her best. It's almost like she read the script and she's like, fuck, I have to do this movie. I mean, she pulled off a Russian accent, but it's not that she's phoning it in. It's just the material she's given, and the rest of these actors are given for that matter, it's not that great, so their performances just come across as kind of boring, and almost just like, why should I care? Red Sparrow also has the weirdest shift in tone I have seen since Hard Target. Yeah, Hard Target with Van Damme. Hard Target with Van Damme. There are so many scenes in this movie that are just over-the-top violence. Somebody's getting tortured, and then in the next scene, somebody just cracks a one-liner. I'm like, it's jarring. Like, where did that come from? I don't get it. Something else I want to talk about, too. The violence in this movie. There is not one straight-up action scene in this movie, which I'm fine with. I understand that. The movies don't have to have action to be great. I've said that countless times before on this channel. They don't have to have action to be great. However, if you're going to have violence in a movie, use that violence as a means to tell a story and justify the violence within the story. This is just violent for the sake of being violent, and it's gratuitously violent. This stuff doesn't usually bother me. It bothered me watching this movie. I can't watch people getting tortured like that when every scene of violence is just somebody getting tortured, beaten over the head, getting skin torn off their body. I can't take that. It's not appealing. It's not visually appealing. It makes you sick to your stomach. It makes you just want to... It's unsettling. Why do they keep doing this? I can understand something like a movie like Green Room. That whole movie is so unsettling in its atmosphere. It's supposed to make you feel like that. It's a daunting, haunting thriller. This type of violence should not be happening in a spy movie. And if it is, don't do it every scene. Something else that bothered me in this movie: sexual content. Doesn't usually bother me. 99.9% of the time, sexual content in a movie does not bother me. Over the top. In this movie. This is the 0.1% where it bothers me. It is so over the top. Every other scene in the first act of this movie, which is about 40 minutes, every other scene in this 40 minutes is just somebody dry humping somebody fucking somebody, or somebody just taking their clothes off for the sake of taking their clothes off because apparently, like, you're at Sparrow school and you have to use your body to get what you want. I get that. I get that that's part of the story, but there's just too much of it. It just, when it happens on screen, it comes across as forced, awkward, out of place, and uncomfortable. That's how I felt watching it. And like I said, this and the violence don't usually bother me. They did when I was watching this movie. I'm like, you could have just taken all of that out. And to add more confusion to this story, this movie's 2 hours and 19 minutes. It didn't want to end. When it feels like it's going to end, it keeps going. And the payoff at the end, there's no payoff at the end. It doesn't do a good job of wrapping up its story. It doesn't do a good job of wrapping up its story. At the end, it makes everything more unclear, makes everything even more confusing than trying to find those tickets on StubHub. It makes this movie... I had to think about this movie for a little bit. When I got home, I took a shower, stood in the shower for 10 minutes, and I tried to piece together the puzzle of this movie, certain plot points. And the more I thought about it, the more it didn't make sense, and the more this movie's just not that interesting. It's really something that's been done before. It's been done better. Jennifer Lawrence gives a good performance. The movie's directed well. It's well shot. It's well edited. That's it. I am going to really... I really was hoping I was not going to go this hard on this movie. At worst, I was hoping this was going to be like a C+. It's worse than that. I am going to give Red Sparrow a D+. Wow. Wow. Did not see that one coming. I honestly thought it was going to be a lot better than that. I didn't like this movie, guys. We'll see what audiences think of it in a week's time when this movie comes out next week. But this is just me. This is how I felt watching the movie, and stuff that doesn't bother me in movies bothered me in this. It's that 0.1% that never bothers me. It's probably going to be many moons before something like that bothers me again. I don't know. I couldn't, with this movie, I couldn't handle it. I don't know why. It is very similar to Atomic Blonde, too, but Atomic Blonde is a much better, more focused, more easy to follow movie. It's more cohesive. It's better directed, too. Man, Red Sparrow, disappointing, guys. I can't wait to see what you think of Red Sparrow. Like I said, comes out in a week. We'll see what happens. I want some feedback, though, so drop me a comment in the comment section below when you do see Red Sparrow next week. I will leave all my links to my social media accounts in the description below. You can check out some other reviews I have done at the end of this video. I'm signing off now. My name is Alex Madden, a certified G and a bona fide C.